So we come to this transgender thing. You know, when I was growing up, transgenderism was just never mentioned. No one ever talked about it. And for a long time into my adult life, no one ever talked about it. Suddenly, bang, it's everywhere. You know, it's a phrase I've used over the years. When something comes out of nowhere and is suddenly everywhere, it's the agenda. Someone's pressed a button on the next stage. So then the question is, okay, let's connect the dots here. What's going on? If you want to create a species in which you are basically fusing gender, not into the transgender human, into the no gender human that doesn't procreate. And that's the game, fantastic as it may sound. You first have to confuse gender on the road to fusing gender. And so we have the BBC. What do they talk about? 100 different genders? I mean, don't be stupid, ridiculous. So the idea is you confuse gender. See, it was very simple for, you know, most of my life. There was male gender and there was male sex and there was the female sex. And then suddenly it's got terribly confused, right? And interestingly, they did a poll in America looking at, or a study, looking at the increase in the number of young people who were identifying as transgender compared with what was before. And they saw the increase was very, very significantly large. But this is what they found. In Democrat-controlled states, it was much bigger than in Republican-controlled states where it was significantly smaller. Because, of course, in Democrat-controlled states, they're pushing more than Republican states, or they're pushing it, but to an extent. But it's overwhelmingly, it's the Democrat woke that's pushing it. And so you see that this increase in the number of people questioning their gender, young people, is not something that's happening naturally. It's something that's happening as a result of perceptual manipulation and then group effect. Why is it happening? Because they are confusing gender on the road to fusing gender. And I say this to the transgender activists. As I said earlier to, you know, different racial groups, religious groups, whatever, don't think the governments are pushing the transgender and all this stuff because they care for you. They could care less about you. Do you think George Soros or Klaus Schwab or Bill Gates cares about, you know, your transgender? They couldn't care less. You're a pawn in the game, just like the migrants coming in and the indigenous population. They are doing it not because they care about you, transgender activists, but it's on the road. It's a step on the road to the no gender human. And that's where it's going. And that's why it's come out of nowhere and is suddenly everywhere. But again, if your perception, your focus is only on the myopic, these things sound absolutely fantastic. Oh no, they're not doing that, they're not doing that, but you don't know what's going on in this global secret society network I call the global cult. They're light years ahead of where you are because you're systematically kept in ignorance of what they know. And what people like me have been doing for the last 35 years is researching and uncovering what they know and they plan and saying to people, this is what is planned. Because, you know, when people said to me over the years, not least during COVID, how could you predict all this long before it happened? And you know, I say sometimes, look, I said this would happen, I said that would happen, I predicted that, And people say, "Oh, you're just saying that because you want, you're trying to promote yourself." No. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying I predicted that and I predicted that and I said this was coming and it's in my books decades ago? Because if I knew it's not an accident that it's happening, is it? It's not random that it's happening. It's happening because it's bloody planned to happen. And the plan can be uncovered within this network and passed over to the population. And most of them go, "You're mad." And then there's others, which is what brings me back to this barricade brigade center of what I call the hijacked alternative media, is they go so far in what they communicate and then stop. And if people read the reveal, they'll see how far, way beyond even what we've talked about so far, how far beyond that this conspiracy of human control goes.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.